Like cables that would hold it in. Yeah,
I've seen mattresses strapped on top of them.
those are some plywood would have in my car. They go like a mile. Oh my God, the torque of the wind. I was holding it, holding it on. Yeah, it was bending, and then it finally flipped off. And it was never again. No, the car's gonna be breaking up 5% of the time. I will leave the truck, but I'll just ride one. I'll call you up and have you.
Premium.
Well, you need
premium.
this too. Yeah, you need a truck and a car.
Well, that's what that is.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm telling you, it's a pilot. It's a
Yeah.
Honda Pilot with an extended 5 foot bed.
Cool.
That's all it is.
I would need an 8 foot bed. So I could apply with the drywall.
Well, if you lay it down, it gives you
Yeah.
another foot and a half.
If you put the gate down, you can lay it flat, right?
Yeah.
If you use it 4 feet wide, it's got to go. Is it?
Oh, yeah. It's designed to take 4x8 sheets. It only hangs out by about a foot.
You can also like put the gate down, right? I mean, gate up and just lay it that way or with the aerodynamics. that work.
In Maryland,
Yeah.
the law says you can't run with a tailgate down.
Is that right?
That's, yeah, because I called, when I got this truck, I was gonna haul some plywood, like 15 sheets.
Yeah.
And I called the Montgomery County Police, the barracks or whatever, and I said, hey, can I run with the tailgate down or up? And they go, nah, it's supposed to be out. But if you go short distance, we won't stop you.
200 miles and stuff. Yeah, so they have those straps that you put on, lengthwise.
Yeah.
That would. I've never ever heard that. That's
Well,
pretty
because
cool.
mine's a 5 foot 3 inch bed, and I thought, I can't run with the tailgate down. It wasn't designed for that, so I figured, now let me be legal and I'll call.
Yeah,
And that's when they said. So then it's a luck of the draw. Depends on who pulls up behind you. If they have a bad day, they'll turn the sign around and get your ticket.
he just told you could do a short calls. Did you get his name?
In the barracks.
Yeah.
The guy in the barracks said I could do short haul.
If Montgomery County Police can't come over here for all the we're having with all this stuff, the only thing is stopping. Gaithersburg Police might stop you. They're lonely.
If it's the end of the month and they gotta get so easy money.
Easy money at those speed cameras. That's what we should do that. We can lower our tax base by tipping it people as they go down Washington. Railroad Street is the one that we get the most money off of. People fly around there.
Talking about Railroad Street.
Railroad Street. I think I've had two people beep at me when I'm pulling out because they zoom around that corner and I deliberately, I don't think I'm a jerk. I deliberately go slow, making my left turn because they're going like 40, 50 miles an hour. The speed limit's 25. I'm willing to sacrifice myself.
If you get hit, that's what insurance is for.
Yeah, right. As I'm walking around with crutches and whatever in a wheelchair, yeah, that was really satisfying.
Everybody, first, let me just do a sound check. Can everybody hear okay?
Railroad is 25.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't actually know
All
what
right.
it is, but
I
that.
got it.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You'll get.
All right, good.
You think it was 45 to 50.
I'm
but-
looking for,
I agree.
hold it, guys. I'm looking for our other two council members.
saw Mary on there.
Mary's that.
Mary's there.
Oh, there's Don Porter coming on now. There's Mary. Okay. Okay, then let's call the August meeting of the town council to order. First order of business is to approve the agenda. So
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second,
Wow, that's a good team.
okay, moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any comments on the agenda?
Recording in progress.
Next,
That was happening to us, meeting here. It's horrible.
I need that in order to share the screen. At least I hope I should.
Understand where the echo is.
All right, so hearing no objections or additions to the agenda, all in favor of the agenda?
I,
Up there, John? Are you? I don't see him anymore.
Harry's there.
See Mary.
Is he off the screen? He's off the screen. All right. John, you don't have a video?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
There he
I'm
is.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
thanks.
I'm still in my car right now, trying to get to my location.
Oh, okay, so we don't, we'll let you concentrate on driving.
I'm
Okay,
good.
good.
Yeah, but I can't
All
get
right,
the video.
so the first item on the agenda after approving the agenda is the public hearing.
Mhm.
And,
I don't-
that's the public hearing on ordinance 2026-10, authorizing an easement to Montgomery County to extend the Washington Grove connector to the end of Brown Street. Okay, do we have anyone here for the public hearing who wishes to speak?
Yes.
Yes.
Donna
Yes.
Schreier is present here. Anybody else? up
Yes.
here?
Yes.
Jay
Jay Everhart.
Liz
Liz
Everhart.
Everhart.
Somebody has an audio on, they shouldn't. Who's that? It's not me, I hope. No, I've killed off my audio. Okay, Liz, all right, let's let Donna start. Donna
Okay,
Please.
thank you. What's your voice? Schreiner,
Schreiner.
SHRINER. Thank you, thanks. 503 Brown Street, if you need that. So I don't know, some of you may remember, not all of you, certainly, because you weren't here yet. Back in June of 2022, I gave a very positive review request for the bike path. It's probably still on the website somewhere under something related to this. But and for the record, I still remain very much in favor of the bike path and look forward to its, to its development, its connection to the Crabs, particularly to the Crabs Branch Shopping Center and to the Metro. However, I am concerned about the impact of the bike path, the shared use path, I should call it, on my Lower Brown Street neighbors, both in the short term and in the long term. And I have submitted these comments to the town council email address, both of them, both the .com and the .gov. And I do see that John has been posted in the Dropbox. But anyway, previously, I've made a series of requests. So the most recent time that these requests were reiterated was at the 65% design stage when the shared use path committee had a meeting with Jean, how did she say? Kapusnik. And that was in October of 2025. And at that time, I was advocating to make sure, they were talking about increasing the path width, which would have increased the level of disturbance. So I was advocating for no increase in the path width beyond the original proposal, to minimize the level of disturbance, to remove the absolute minimum number of trees, to provide a landscape plan that blocks the direct view of the salt barn and through, if you imagine a 60-foot wide cut through there to Crabs Branch Road, to provide a landscape plan that as much as possible blocks the direct view through to Crabs Branch Road, to minimize the light path intrusion on Lower Brown Street because the path will be lit, and to stage all of the construction from the Crabs Branch Way access point. More recently, we have met on June 29th. This was a discussion that was had again with the Shared Use Path Committee, with our attorney, with the attorney for the county, and with Chief. And this was to discuss the easement approval. And again, at that time, one of the main things that came out of that meeting was a request for the county to mark out the level of disturbance and to tag the trees that would be removed before the easement was approved by Washington Grove. And Jean admits that she did agree to this. I've spoken to her this week. She does admit that we did discuss that. What seems to be in contention is that the other piece of it was that after the level of disturbance was marked and the trees were tagged, which has not happened, that might have. And before the easement is signed, that she would conduct an on-site meeting with the Lower Brown Street residents to visually review the impact and to discuss, at a minimum, the construction staging, the landscaping plans, and the lighting plans. So this is just to give those residents a chance to see what the impact of this is gonna be. Because in all honesty, the last town meeting that we have had with this, and the last time that anybody really beyond the shared use path committee and the town council to a degree have seen or heard any plans was August 13th of 2023. And that was at the 35% design stage. So that's quite a long time ago. In addition to that, I was requesting that we require them to provide written commitment that all construction would be staged from the Crafts Branch Way access point, and that no construction vehicles will be parked overnight in the Brown Street cul-de-sac. This is for resident safety, with the trucks that use that Lower Brown Street and use that cul-de-sac to turn around. That cul-de-sac really needs to remain available at all times. The reason that I'd like written confirmation of that is because every time I seem to bring these up, I do seem to, I don't get it documented in writing, and I live to regret it. Anyway, I'm assuming that my assumption here is that once the easement is assigned, our ability as a town to advocate on behalf of the most highly impacted town residents would be limited and or lost. And therefore, I'm requesting that the town council strongly advocate for the above requests prior to signing off on the necessary easement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Donna. All right, I heard Liz Everhart, although I don't.
I'm here.
Okay. All right, Liz, you can go.
Okay,
next.
mine is very short. I'll submit. I just want to commend the Shared Use Path Ad Hoc Committee for working really diligently with the county. I believe a lot of these concerns were addressed at the last meeting. I just am hoping that the committee will continue to work well with the county. And I'm disappointed that the easement is not back for approval tonight, but hoping that once you guys do get the easement back, hopefully soon from the county, you will move quickly to approve it. The connector will be a huge benefit. It's been 5 years almost since the town meeting where overwhelmingly the town voted in favor of this. So I'm really looking forward to the day when we have a shared use path that I can have a direct walk to Giant and onto the metro. And I'll submit these comments in writing. Thank you. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Liz. Do we have anyone else?
Jay is here.
Jay is here. Jay, you have a comment?
Yeah, I think Liz said it very well, the large picture, the big picture. So the design progress has been slow because that's how the county works. And they spent well over $500,000 in engineering plans and permitting, and has provided finally a near final plan that differs very little from the original concept. And essentially, from our perspective in town, not at all from the 35% concept. It's really how they were engineering the road and getting over some water and that sort of stuff. But what we would see is essentially the same as it was several years ago. So as has been said, one of the last steps before construction can begin is for the town to provide an easement to the county of just over 200 square feet, which is an area smaller than many living rooms beside the dead end of Brown Street. Regarding the concerns that the Donna Schreiner raised, they've all been addressed to the extent possible. Some things just can't be done, as Gene Kapusnik told us at the last meeting, and I will provide comments in writing on this as to what I recall being discussed and why I think some things can work and some things can't. But and I certainly agree that there should be a meeting with anyone interested to look at where the shared use path will go from the end of Brown Street. I guess say, I mean, it's nice to think that, okay, we can put these things in writing. But at the end of the day, if the Department of Transportation wants to do it differently after the easement's been granted, what's to prevent that? So we've asked in the revised easement document for the opportunity to discuss with the Department of Transportation and the county any problems that may occur. And I don't think we can do much more than that. And so I really urge the council to approve the easement as soon as practical so this important project can proceed. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jay. Further comments?
I have a comment, and that is that
Bill, this is Bill Robertson.
yes, it is. And we have been misled by the county and all of this for years. We're supposed to be running this thing through Roberts Oxygen, and then they moved the salt barn into the wrong location. So I'm a little leery about it. And who's going to maintain the bike path? Who's going to be responsible for it? Is it going to be the town? Or who's going to pick up any trash that accumulates from the use of this path? And there's already people that are flying down Brown Street like 40 miles an hour on e-bikes. Who's going to be the traffic cop to stop that? Hello?
Well, you're making the statement. This is not an interaction question answer session. So your comments will be possibly be addressed during when we bring the easement up for discussion a little bit later.
Well, are we going to extend the bike path into Gaithersburg, or is it going to dead end at the post office?
It's not time to engage.
Well, Bill, you'll have to wait until we get to that. There is an item on my report where I will comment on that.
Okay.
And so stay tuned. Okay, anybody else? All right, seeing no one, we'll call the public hearing on the easement ordinance to a close. And move on to the next item, which is a treasurer's report. Jean is here, and Jean, could you say a few words about the treasurer's report?
Yeah, I mean, we're 1 month into the new fiscal year. There's not a lot to comment on. If you went down to page 4.
Page 4, wow.
4 and top of 5, if you can put both page 4 and 5 up, kind of spreading across them. Keep going.
I don't have numbers, so tell me what line item.
I see. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. Yeah. So with the insurance, when we did the budget, we did not get specific guidance from Legit as to what the new rates would be. We kind of had a rough guide, but the actual rates did come in higher for both liability and property. So you'll see that it's a one-time payment for the year. It's not going to increase over the year, just to point that out. And the nice thing is that the workers' comp premium, we've had successful audits the last couple of years. In fact, they thankfully waived this year's audit. So we keep getting prior year refunds on our premiums based on those audit results. So I do not expect that workers' comp actual to increase, and it's significantly lower than what we anticipated. So overall, our insurance category is under budget. I don't expect it to change during the year. That's good news. If you were to scroll up, I do want to, the only big spending area that we have had is Summer in the Parks, which again is a once a year thing. If you were to scroll up to the revenue area, you will see 12,600, well above budget. Part of that is a larger donation from the Women's Club than last year. And some last minute folks will pay for the whole month, but they might only be attending 1 or 2 weeks, and those came in late in the season. So I don't, that should be the total revenue for Summer in the Parks, well above budget. And if you went down to the expenses, which is in the recreation area after parks, the salary is just a bit under budget there, and the supplies actually are a bit under budget at the moment. I don't know if I'm going to get any more reimbursement requests, and there's one counselor who has not submitted for her background check reimbursement, so that may change. But overall, the delta between income and expenses is about roughly estimating 1,000. The budget that the town approved, the delta between those, which is what I also call the town subsidy for Summer in the Parks, was just a little over 3,000 that was built into the budget. So we do have excess in there. Should there be more expense money needed related to Summer in the Parks, there is money. Then the way I look at it, the subsidy could be up to about 3,000 and currently is just about maybe 1,000. So not to say that we don't want to save money, but the approved budget had a larger subsidy than the actuals currently look like they will be. So should there be more expenses related to Summer in the Parks to come this month, there's room, is the way I look at it. And those are the only comments I have on July.
I have a quick question. If there's money left over in what was budgeted for Summers in the Park, does that carry over to next year, or is it
No.
just
No.
wiped out June 30th?
Nothing carries over.
Okay.
Use it or lose it.
Okay.
Yep. So should there be a need to expend some more money towards this year's Summer in the Parks, the way I am looking at the budget, there should be availability there. Yeah.
I have a question, Jean.
Yeah.
About, this is for Jean, not John, the project manager. Stormwater management.
Uh-huh.
Where are we as far as spending on that?
If you look at the very bottom of my report, we have quite a lot of money remaining in ARPA money, which is stormwater. And that money has to be spent by the end of this calendar year. I have concerns we're late on what we thought we would be spending. Should not all, John, can you go to the very bottom still? Yeah.
There's nothing there but accounts.
Yeah, right there. We have
What line item is that?
128,000 remaining in ARPA money.
Oh.
That money has to go out the door by the end of this calendar year.
Oh, that's all. Oh, that's cool.
Sorry, which line is that?
We could spend that.
It's below everything.
Oh, I got it. I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Good.
So if that all of that money is not out the door, we have to give it back to the government.
Right, but we're in good shape.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Thank you.
I am stressed over this, but I may be the only one.
Yeah.
But I would like to see this money out the door in November. Not just
John's not gonna
spent.
leave a penny, don't worry.
Just
Hey, Peter,
spent.
Peter is volunteering to be a middleman.
Okay,
Oh,
because
no.
I look
Yeah.
out my door every day and that project is not changing.
I
So,
know.
yeah, that's stormwater.
But do we have to actually spend the money, or like, can we commit the money?
Spent,
We have to
spent,
actually spend the money.
spend
So
it.
you have to, so like you can't have an invoice in hand, you have to actually have the money out the door.
Oh, if we have an invoice then.
Oh, you do have an invoice?
That would probably.
Okay,
My understanding is that an invoice with a 2026 date on it is sufficient. However,
okay.
they say spent. And tomorrow I am attending a webinar office hours for ARPA. And I'm going to ask specifically, what does the word spent mean? Does it mean we have an invoice, or does it mean the check actually left the account?
Okay, thanks.
So
I'm
stay
good.
tuned. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah. I don't want to give any money back.
No, we won't, I know. That's good.
Any other questions on the budget, on the treasurer's report? Okay, and in that case, we need a motion to approve the July treasurer's report.
Move to approve.
Seconded, Peter seconded.
Any other discussion? Peter, yes, that was Nick moved and Peter seconded. All in favor? Is everybody here? Mary and John is,
This is John. I vote aye.
okay, thank you. All right, thank you, Jean. And all righty, this brings us to my report.
John, I'm sorry to interrupt. Did we skip public appearances for a particular?
Oh, we did speak, but no, we just went right over it by omission. All right, we're backing up and gonna do public appearances. Thank you. We would have caught it. We would have caught it at some point. Okay, we have public appearances on any subject. Donna's here to speak to some point.
Well, you heard it, so, but I'm gonna do the formal presentation here, so. I would like to submit a request, to consider the installation of a stop sign at the intersection of Brown and Chestnut. Now, if you're familiar with Brown and Chestnut right now, it's a two-way stop. The individuals coming off of Railroad do not stop. The individuals heading essentially towards the post office, whatever direction you want to say that, they've got a stop sign. The individuals heading towards Railroad on Chestnut have a stop sign, but anybody coming from the post office on Brown Street towards Chestnut, there's no stop sign yet. Now, that obviously has made sense because there's no cars, it's essentially a dead end, right? But there's no stop sign. That also means bicycles coming from the post office do not stop there or are not required to stop there. This is important because last year in May, I almost got cremated by somebody turning off of Railroad Street because I failed to stop. I usually am tuned to stop, but for some reason that particular night I wasn't thinking straight. I went through, and just my luck, somebody came flying off of Railroad Street and nearly plastered me. I didn't submit anything last year because I thought, it's my fault. I should have stopped. I know better than that. But this year, since I've been back this summer, I saw another person on a bike very nearly hit at that same intersection. So that's kind of my impetus now to say I think we need to consider installing a stop sign there. Obviously, it would be mostly for bikers coming through there from the post office, but I'd like to make the request that if you think about doing that.
Okay, thank you. Any other public appearances? That's Paul, yes?
I would just like to know what the holdup is with the stormwater management work. Because I pass there all the time and nothing's happening It's just not, nothing's happening.
Yeah, I can give the explanation I'm getting from the contractor, although we could push this into motion. There's a redesign of the installation at Chestnut and Center, where in order to save a number of trees on both sides of Center, when the plan was laid out, it turned out to be endangering at least several significant trees. And so we asked for a redesign. There's definitely a solution, and we're waiting for that to be completed in that location. You need the engineering drawings and the stakeout. Everywhere else is ready to go, and they could be working, and I suspect once whatever this final holdup with the engineer is circumvented, then they're going to be working pretty straight through. There was also a holdup because they had to order pipes, reinforced concrete pipes, and a few other things, but I suspect those have already arrived, so I don't believe that's a problem. In other words, materials are not a problem. So that's the explanation, Paula. We're kind of disappointed they haven't done more. However, just to give you an idea of the process, the design, build, and on-site changes that can be made. They have been working between, as most people will know, between Chestnut Road and Hickory. And the asphalt swale there was removed, and a dirt swale has been installed. And it turned out that that was a little bit trickier than laid out on the plan to put it between Chestnut Avenue and Hickory. So we had a few major rainstorms, which kind of informed the situation. It didn't require much alteration, but it did require some. So right now that is pretty much in place. And so it's not like nothing has happened, but I'm in agreement that the other areas are or need to be started soon. I think it'll go pretty quick. I don't think anybody anticipates any problems doing the work. The major installation is the gravel wetlands at the end of Center, and that has been laid out. Not quite to everybody's satisfaction, but it will probably be the last thing completed.
Thank you.
All I can tell you.
Yeah, I was
Thank
just wondering, because I was talking with Steve, he said that one of the problems also is that they have another project going with a lot of crew, and they're pretty much done with it, and they're gonna move all those people over here. They have a lot of great equipment, and they'll knock this out real quick. So, yeah, you're gonna spend your money, don't worry.
I don't think Paul's worried about the money. She does the field.
It's what get done, yeah.
We have the money. Okay, thanks for that comment. It's an update I shouldn't have given then, but I would have been giving this my report. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, any other public appearances? Seeing none, we'll call the public appearances to a close, out of order, but now we go on to my report. First of all, the kudos, and the kudos are focused on Summer in the Parks, which recently concluded. First one is to the staff and the volunteers who delivered a wonderful camp experience for over 40 campers. That's many more than we've had in the recent past. Accolades, of course, go to the camp director, Courtney Osborne, and her assistant director, Jack Bones, for organizing, coordinating so many imaginative activities, aided, and this is important, by many resident experts. And for those of you who didn't already see several posts that were put on the listserv, no problem. I have a link in the agenda to a more detailed tribute to all those involved, and there were many, and they're named. And includes the links to the video and a slideshow that kind of summarize the program. So, yeah. And the second kudo really has to go to Eva Patron, who was the site coordinator, the SITP coordinator for this year and for the past 3 years. So 4 years, doing an amazing job keeping the program flourishing. And Eva has now announced she's stepping down. But it turns out that the SIT coordinator position will be kept in the Patron family. Counselor Nick Patron has at least with this year in advance to reconsider his offer to coordinate the program next year. So that's fantastic. But all kudos and accolades to Eva for her efforts in keeping the summer in the parks flourishing.
Can I make a real quick semi-announcement about that?
Yeah.
We're real lucky in that both Jack and Courtney want to come back next year, and so too do the 4 counselors. So we'll have not new staff, but second-year staff, and we're going to include some extra training. But we're real pleased that all 6 are coming back.
That's great. That should make it go even more.
Right.
That'd be terrific. All right. Okay. The council and others probably want an update on the playground renovation and modernization RFP. It has been distributed. It was finalized. The dates for timeline dates and everything were entered into that, and I was able to post it on the State of Maryland marketplace site, which makes state projects and is open to municipalities to announce their projects and include summaries and contact information. So we're on there as well. Oscar Ramos asked me, I think it was this morning or yesterday, if we knew anybody who had looked at that, and it turns out that there's a list of 5 vendors who did look at it. Whether they have pursued it, to what extent, remains to be seen, but it got some notice. I passed that information to Oscar. The deadline there's a series of events with that RFP. You should look at it. I don't think it's in this current folder, but it is in last week's, with the deadline for requesting a site visit, obviously a good idea, and submitting questions. And the intention is then to respond to the questions, and then the deadline for submission is before the September meeting, the September council meeting, and to identify 3 vendors. It's to do further evaluation and interview them. It's quite similar to what we do with the stormwater management project. All righty, this one project update I will skip over. We already covered that. Liz Everhard, or somebody asked about the it wasn't Liz, it was Bill, about the Gaithersburg side of this bike pathway network. A meeting, Gaithersburg requested a meeting to update the town on where they were in the planning phases for that. And they have money now for detailed site planning. And of course, part of that, to Gaithersburg's credit, includes bringing the path from the commercial corner to Brown Street. So we were reviewing what would be required in the coming months to firm up the town's participation, what Gaithersburg will need for for their project. They do not have construction funding yet, but this is all preparatory to obtaining construction funding. Okay.
John, I have a quick question about that. I was talking to Tatiana about, we haven't met with her in a long time, and so she's would, be happy to meet with us, a little group. But I'm wondering when would be a good time to meet to just begin discussing about the easement? Is it too early, or is it okay to like in the next couple of weeks meet with her?
Let's talk about that offline.
Okay.
I mean, we need something very concrete for her, I think, at this point. Like, here's what we want. We'll create an easement draft and go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
did come in with plans, like the 35% plan, and
Well,
it
we
might
could
be
meet
helpful for.
Well, that's it.
We should talk about, see how they're going with the plans so that it's, everything then.
Yeah.
I mean, we can have the form of the,
You know, the formal
if
meeting.
not the actual, we're not gonna have
Right.
the actual survey information.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Right. All right, and the next thing I was going to report on was the shared youth pathway. But it's on our agenda in a big way. And please stick around. It just a little preview, the council is not going to be approving that ordinance tonight, and the reasons for that we'll get to. Last thing is the hard tennis court maintenance, which the council approved finishing crack repair by filling. And Jupiter Systems has completed that, being Mike Shanks. He had a devil of a time cleaning the court. Because it hasn't cleaned in a while, but it looks great. And he's repaired the cracks and remains to paint over them, to color them in as innocuous a way as can be managed. So that's the status of our tennis courts. Oh, in addition, pickleball lines.
Excuse me, I have a question about the swim thing. We kind of glossed by it. Could I ask a question?
No.
This is Karen Kelly.
You can't.
Hello?
Offline, you can ask, just send it by email and I can answer it.
It's not a comment, it's a question. I want to know what you're going to do about the standing water and where are people supposed to walk when they're coming from the lake to the church parking lot? There is no space to walk and you can't walk in that gully and there's standing water there. What are you going to do about that? And I can submit the comments. That's fine.
The plans call for a path, which will be installed some fairly soon. I can't tell you whether it'll be this week or 2 weeks from now.
But I'd like to know where the path is. There's no space left. You're right up to my property line. You're almost at Lauren's property line.
Appropriate.
There will be a path.
It's not appropriate, did you say? I shouldn't ask now.
Correct.
Sorry. Yes.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
This is
not a discussion period.
yes.
No, but you talked about the swim thing and Paula
Yes,
got to ask a question and then you just breezed by it.
This is a personal question.
No, it's not a personal question. Paula Puglisi got to ask about why is there no progress
Yes,
on the swim project.
Appearance. You could have asked it during a public appearance. That's correct.
But then you went on to discuss the swim thing and we never got to address it.
There was no, that's not how we operate. All right. I'm not trying to discourage your question. It's just,
okay.
You can't ask it at this time.
I see. Okay.
Okay. All right. I mean.
No, not really, but I'll write the letter.
I know. You'd rather address it, but we lose a lot of time and we have a lot of business and we just can't. The council has determined that we need to be a little more rigid in how we address our business. So, All right, that's one more item, in my report. And that concerns the accessory dwelling unit ordinance that we passed a couple of years ago. Couple of 3 years ago. Since then, the state has passed an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit ordinance, and it mandates some requirements from municipalities. So, that will lead to some required changes to our ordinance. And so the planning commission has been looking into it. You will, it will be coming forward as a proposed zoning, a text amendment to revise the ADU, our ADU ordinances. That's all I have in my report. Any other questions I should address the council?
We may want to mention, a couple of us were on that phone call were you on the phone call from the state?
No, I was not available.
Oh,
that day.
it was like a little bit alarming about what the state's trying to do as far as trying to control local zoning,
No.
as far as squeezing in more housing in different places. I mean, I don't believe it's gonna take effect. I think the more affluent communities are gonna not like what's going on. But it's an interesting direction that they're going. It's just something I'm sure Jet's on top of it, John's on top of it.
So Peter is referring to something has nothing to do with ADUs and everything to do with our zoning authority. For those of you who may recall that there was a bill introduced in the state legislature in this past session, proposed by the governor, that would basically require residential zoning to be as small as 5,000 square feet, thereby increasing the number of buildable lots all over the state. That bill did not make it out of committee, but that doesn't mean it's gone away, and it will be back. And so what Peter's talking about is a briefing from one of the state department heads as to what they're thinking. One of the mistakes they made last year is they didn't communicate well, and so hopefully they will continue to do better at that, which is not to say what they propose to do isn't alarming. So that's something that we'll be addressing in the coming legislative session. Clearly, and the Maryland Municipal League is involved in this as well, so. All right. Moving along on the agenda, then let's go to the first. These are administrative matters, so they're information reports. It was requested to get an update on repair of playground equipment. I put Peter in there because he takes these. He's our maintenance coordinator.
Right. So as you know, we have, like you just said, we have this $250,000 grant. So we're working at Oscar and Group and Andy are working, and Jonathan are working at getting that along, which is very good. In the meantime, we have a playground that needs a little bit of work. The primary concerns are there's some nails that are popping up on those 6x6 that surround the equipment. And some of those are rotting. And we have some benches, which they're warping down and they're breaking. I've talked with Steve and with RJ, and they're going to be working on making sure that everything's safe as far as nails and things coming up. We have 6x6s at the maintenance shed that we took from other places, and they're going to replace a few that are really in bad shape. It's not going to be a huge major effort since it is all going to be redone, but it has to be safe. So that's one thing. The benches will all be repaired. That's a minor expense. It's just pressure treated 2x4s. The issue, since you opened up the door, the issue of concern is the monkey bars and a broken slide. And we as a council like 2 years ago, voted to remove the monkey bars.
The jungle gym?
Of jungle gym.
Jungle
So the monkey, I'm old school.
Big difference.
Yeah, the jungle gym. Yeah, we voted to do that, and it's never been done. And I think, I'm not, we don't have like, I don't know. But I'm just saying, it has been done, and it's kind of like a slap in the face of all the people on the committee who have been pushing for this for a year. And I'm not, it's just kind of like out there in limbo, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to mention that and the slide, because they feel like it's not safe and it should be removed. And I'm totally neutral on it because I see kids playing on the jungle gyms all the time, and I don't have a problem with it personally. But we as a council voted to remove it, and as somebody pointed out, if somebody did happen to get injured on it, there would be probably some kind of liability, since we said we would remove it, because the reason why you remove it because it's not safe. And so as a council, we should really either remove it or say we're going to keep it, but not have it hanging out there in limbo. And I am not making a motion on, which way to go, but John, as a council, I mean, there is a good point to that. What are your thoughts?
You want me to respond?
Well, you know what your response, well, somebody, yeah, it's like, I think.
I have one quick thing to say, and I know a little bit of history of this, but the biggest concern I have is it's either safe or not safe. But the council voted to get rid of it, and as Peter said, if a child gets hurt out there and a parent decides to sue, the council has in writing said get rid of it. And granted, you may say, well, a child's not going to sue, but I got news for you. When a child gets hurt, the parent is no longer the parent that we knew him before. The parent then becomes a different kind of parent, looking for the interest of the child in long term. And I think it's a real liability that we've got that piece of equipment there that the council voted to get rid of.
Now we can change our vote and say, we think it is, it's not, it is that we could, I don't know what the rationale is that. No piece of equipment is safe. You could get hurt on any piece of equipment. Yeah, it's just.
So why don't we suggest a deadline by the time we would like to see that removed? Because you're right, it's been sitting out there for 2 or 3 years.
And maybe it's possible that when these experts come in from the whoever wins this bid, they will have experts and they're bringing equipment. Maybe they could actually make a determination of if that would fit or not.
If it would
fit in within, if it's safe, and if it would fit in with what their plan is for the equipment that it should have.
The jungle gym?
Yeah.
But we already decided to get rid of it.
So yeah, but we obviously didn't get rid of it. So yeah, I don't know.
If you go back, like you say in history, the council voted, right? And then again, it was all based on safety, and it was a misunderstood safety issue for me. And that's why I voted the way I did. But subsequent to that, we ended up with a comprehensive plan, playground plan.
Right.
And then now it sounds like we just want to arbitrarily ignore that plan that was approved by council and just start ripping equipment out because we voted up, the equipment to be removed. There's also a lot of things in this comprehensive plan and the draft plans that created this comprehensive plan.
You have to say playground comprehensive plan.
Playground.
Seriously,
comprehensive plan.
it gets.
And by the way, this is Chris speaking.
For
the machine. But that basically said we brought in some experts, and they said that all of our playground equipment was unsafe, and started criticizing different pieces of equipment that we had. And I can remember sitting at a council meeting where another counselor basically said, you can't unring the bell, when I said that there were errors in this draft report. And again, now we have a comprehensive plan that we as council endorsed. We voted on it. And
you mean the comprehensive, not the
the playground
sorry.
Comprehensive plan.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
No,
Okay. But we're talking playground. That's why
I understand, but
that's
they're both involved. Yeah.
But anyway, with that in there, and they put a lot of time and effort into this. The playground committee did, right? And they created different zones. And then this jungle gym is in a zone. So if we're gonna be doing work, we need to adhere to what was developed as a playground comprehensive plan to move forward with the playground renovation efforts, I think, right?
I agree with that, but you have in place was made a long time ago. That's a tremendous liability.
Well, why is it on?
I wasn't here then. It's just, hey, I could come in as an attorney.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Somebody has two audios and it's feeding back. So if you'll please.
Whoever's
that?
muted.
I think it's Mary, because we had this issue.
Okay. All right.
I'm muted. It can't be me. I'm muted.
If you're muted, how can we hear you?
Because I unmuted.
Yeah, it's called unmuting.
Thanks, John.
I'll stand by you any day.
Rehashing it.
Well,
Why don't we just follow?
May I make a comment about this?
Sure.
I've said this repeatedly. I was not present at that council meeting where that was voted. Subsequently, I simply asked the question, what was unsafe about the jungle gym? At which point, a number of people went out to look at it carefully. The verdict of every one of those individuals was there was nothing more unsafe than maybe falling off of the device, which is the nature of the device. In other words, the rationale that it was unsafe had no substance.
And we need to undo the vote.
Right.
We can undo the vote.
Right.
All right. I fully accept. What the heck?
It's you.
No, it's not. I didn't change anything. That's interesting. Right. More recently, and I'm sorry, I have to state everything. More recently, the slide, old slide, metal slide, also was evaluated to be unsafe. Yeah, there was something a piece had come off. Steve went out there, put the piece back on, and again, a bunch of people looked at it, and the only thing remotely different or unsafe about that is that if you were a strong person, you could maybe barely lift the end of the slide a bit, an inch off the ground. So again, the safety issue isn't real. It's no different than it's been or would be for any of the other pieces of equipment. There's nothing that my point is that, and Chris is right, both those pieces of equipment are almost certain to be moved, if not removed entirely. The plan calls for those changes, but we're not executing the plan yet. And so arbitrarily going in and just removing equipment with no safety issue is just unwarranted, in my opinion. And if it takes a revisit by the council for that, and you can overrule my opinion, but I think if the council marched out there and attempted to find out what was unsafe about the the jungle gym, I wouldn't expect you to see anything.
Well, I would like to state for the record that people did say that it was unsafe and they wanted it.
People said a lot.
And the town council responded to that. And it was a legitimate vote. We had information and there's been no reason to overturn that vote. And I know you didn't like it, but that's what the council voted.
Well, so then again, and that's what I was saying, right? My belief was the due diligence that a council member supposedly had done and published a report and claimed unsafe. And to by looking at the ASTM standards that govern playground safety, that machine, the jungle gym is as safe as any other piece of equipment out there. The only unsafe issue with that I could tell based on ASTM standards that I've looked at, right, is no different than any other piece of equipment. It's falls. And with that, there's surface and subsurface depth requirements and materials to absorb the shock, right? If there's, and that's the other thing, maybe we should go back and revisit. If everybody in the council wants to go back and take a look at that again and take a look at what is not safe.
Can I say something really fast? I'm sorry. Can I say something as the committee chair?
Be a report on what's happening with the repairs, and now we're revisiting the whole issue of whether the jungle gym should be there or not. And I personally don't think this is a productive use of our time. Why don't we? If you're finished with your report, I would suggest that we move on.
Well, I do have one more comment about safety though, and that wasn't brought up, that is very evident. And if you take a look at the structure for the fort with the blue slides, that's falling apart. And you talk about the benches with rotted wood and everything else. If you take a look at that, there's splinters everywhere, there's rotted wood everywhere, there's carpenter beam, boreholes all over the place, and kids are still using that piece of equipment. So, you know, I guess that would be, you know, what is the playground committee thinking to do to mitigate while we're still strategizing with RFP issues? You know,
Well, I applaud Andy Beeling goes out once a month.
Andy would like to make a comment, I know, but if the council wants to hear it, this is the time.
I would like.
It's a playground
I
committee.
think it's Andy or
It was, I thought it was,
that's Oscar.
who has their hand, both of them had their.
Okay.
Andy, you
Yeah.
go ahead.
Andy, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm here.
Go
Just,
ahead. Go ahead.
just real quick. I agree with Barbara. We don't need to spend a huge amount of time on this. You know, just to rehash on what John just said, these are items that are slated for removal. You know, the question is, and you know, I think some of us would rather just do it and have it ready for when the next installations come in. If the council and or mayor prefers we wait until the trucks are unloading the new equipment, then you know, so be it. But that's fine with me. I think Chris has made some excellent points about the subsurface and the surface underneath the jungle gym. If we want to spend a bunch of money digging that back out and putting mulch in, that's fine. But on the flip side, you know, it's going to be money that is going to be, you know, possibly wasted because we're going to be putting the new structures in that area anyway. So it's either unsafe in its current condition, given the surface condition, or like we do nothing and a kid falls down and it gets hurt. And if the council says, well, we shouldn't remove it right now, then we will have to deal with the surface issue because there's nothing under there right now. It's dirt. So, you know, that's just something for you guys to think about. But, you know, we can have our opinions, but ultimately you're the ones that make the decision on what we are and aren't allowed to remove and when we're allowed to do that. So I'm perfectly willing to press the servant of the people button and wait for direction from the town government.
If I can just remind everyone, the playground comprehensive plan also calls for the removal of the jungle gym, and the small slide, that kind of thing. The RFP also calls for all that. So you have voted on 3 different occasions for that plan.
All right. Okay, let's move along from this playground safety report. All right, the next item is a report that was requested on the status of the council work group on communications.
Okay, we have met on 2 occasions, have a third meeting planned. The first meeting, we discussed the use of the webpage, and we decided that we would leave any modification of the webpage to John Porter and his group, although we would specifically request that a much better search engine be developed for the webpage. Everybody agrees that the search engine for the webpage is less than optimal, and we have put in a request that be part of the process of it in improving webpage. The second component that we dealt with has to do with the bulletin, which has become, as a means of communication in town, very burdensome. It's many pages long. The feedback we're getting is that most people don't even bother to read it. When I met with Arlene, approximately 70 people in town open the bulletin, approximately 40 people go beyond the first page. That's about 15 and about 7% of the people who we would like to be interacting with in terms of the bulletin. As a consequence, we have talked about reducing the size of the bulletin to a much more manageable product. We've gotten it down to 5 pages. I think we can get it down to 1 or 2. And what we could do is include on that 1 or 2 pages links that would allow people to go into the background and see the full bulletin as it is with its 17 to 20 to 25 pages. So we're in the process of working on condensing the bulletin to make it a much more usable product for communication purposes. The next meeting, the agenda is actually going to be set by Peter, which has to do with he calls the 2 things that we have talked about in more detail band-aids to a situation. He may be correct about that. And what he would like to do is go back and look at the situation as a whole and see if there is a larger global way of attacking the problem with communication, both coming in and going out from the council, the administration, and the community. And Peter's going to be in charge of that meeting. It's going to be on the 14th. So we're working on 2, quote, band-aid ways to help improve things right now, but are hoping to get a better picture of how to deal with this in a global sense. I don't know if you want to comment on that.
No, you actually covered everything. I was just going to say that the exciting thing is that it's kind of what you said, is that it's 2-way. It's how does the town communicate to residents and how the residents communicate to the town. And we've heard comments from people. People are excited about the fact that the town's looking at this globally. And just like Barbara, you're working on your spreadsheet for things that town residents want. We've tracked it. There's like somebody, I think, I can't use the word, but there's not a lot of trust when people communicate with the town that action is going to be taken, because there's so many places it goes and it's not tracked. And like, even for me as a maintenance person, when somebody wants something done, it takes a long time to get that in the queue. So that's the goal of our group here, is just to formalize and use technology to help build that relationship, 2-way relationship.
That was not in the resolution about communication.
That was my idea of it.
And the next item on the administrative matters deals with this. I'm just saying, I don't see what that has to do with the communications group.
What I'm talking about is communications is how the people talk to each other.
Yes, but that's not what the communications group was formed to do.
Well, that's not my understanding of what it was formed to do.
Well, read the resolution.
So,
I mean, there's a lot of things going on, but that wasn't one that was in the basket of the communications group.
Well, we have looked at 6 or 7 different other forms of communication to improve communication going in and out. I think if you lump all those 6 or 7 together, along with the web page and the bulletin, it sort of falls under what Peter's talking about. I don't think we're gonna. Well,
we're gonna present back what we talk about.
What we're gonna offer are very practical solutions.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Forget the resolution. Anybody in town can get together and have this discussion. All right, and then we can request.
Yes,
I'm not sure what you're talking. I'm listening.
I'm a little frustrated. I'm personally frustrated about these comments out of context. The next item on the agenda deals with the request for repair or maintenance of town property tracking system.
Right.
Yes.
And that's just one.
And I've reported several times that is under construction.
Right. Well, hello.
We've
already, that's one tool. That's not a solution to the problem we have in town as far as how we all communicate.
No, but you just detailed, it would be nice if we didn't, if we handled requests for
Yeah,
town officials in a more efficient way.
yeah.
That's what,
I know that. I just looked at Barbara because Barbara, we've talked, I'm not sure where it is with that. But I understand, as a maintenance person, I get a lot of the requests, and I think it's great, the concept that I've heard. And if there's something going on that I don't know about, then I'm sorry.
And
But-
that's the next agenda.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
But that's
let's finish
one-
with the report about the committee.
Well, I'm
No, we're done. Apparently we're done.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the interest of addressing that point, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is a new tracking procedure. So that procedure I've discussed twice as to how it could improve and make residents more aware of what's going on, feel like they're having their attention paid, and also make things easier for those who are responsible for getting stuff done when it's requested. So the status is, ideally, the goal is to create a system for requesting repair or maintenance or some action about town facilities, to get that into a system where the action on that request can be tracked, where a request can be assigned to the appropriate people who would be responsible. So if it's a maintenance of the a sign fell over, well, it should go to Peter because he's the maintenance coordinator with RJ, and they can fix the sign. But there are more complicated ones. We have an issue with, for example, the stop sign. All right, remember, request for a stop sign. Donna's come to the town council. All right, so now that's a request. We put this in the system. What's going on? The council has to deal with this. So the next step is to keep on the council. What are you going to do with that request? It's the idea is to cover all these requests, and Anna has set up a tracking spreadsheet as an initial effort to do this. She's also drafted a form that can be submitted online, saying, we have a problem with tree branches or whatever. It will automatically go into the well, at first it may be hand put in, but it should automatically go into the system. Somebody, being Anna, being the hub for this, will assign someone to do this. They will get an email. Guess what? If something needs attention. And then at some point, whoever does that has to report back, I've done something. Otherwise, the system will identify that there's been a period of time, nothing's happened. We need to find out what's going on. So that's the idea of the system, is to put in one place with one person, or an easy way for multiple people to find out what's going on without having to come and ask individuals what's going on, because you never know the right person to ask. So the status is that it's pretty far along, and I've asked Anna to start putting all these requests in there to try and work out kinks, and we'll hopefully get this online form up and tested to see how it works, so that residents or anyone can make their requests, get it on this tracking list, and then follow up with the appropriate responsible parties will be notified, and they will then do something and report back what's being done. Doesn't mean it's been accomplished, but here's what's being, so everybody knows something's being done. That's the extent of the report I want to make on this. Ideally, we get this whole thing could be on the web, all right, with no intervention from anybody, with automatic emailing, with just someone making sure that it hasn't run into an unforeseen misdirection. So I think this is what you were talking about.
No, it's like you're missing the entire point, John. I'm sorry.
Wait.
Yeah, okay, I'll say-
There are three parts to this. You're talking about the middle part. The first part is information comes in that citizens are concerned about, regardless of whether or not it's a maintenance. It may be about how we act as council members. It may be about other stuff. Information comes in, information comes out. That's what communication's working on. What you're talking about is the inside when it's being taken care of by Anna and other people and how we deal with it. That's fine. We're not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. We're talking about how the community gets information in with various topics, not just maintenance, and how the information gets back out to the community.
It's just another request for something to be done. I mean, who do you fine,
Right.
Well,
we're gonna have
I'll tell you what,
the
the next report needs to be recommendations to the council, because
Wait a minute, we
the
had
place-
4 months.
What, yeah,
We had 4 months.
yeah, of course, I mean,
We can
tomorrow,
give you, well, you said next meeting.
no, the next time we address this problem.
Okay,
I didn't
that's-
say,
Let us just,
I didn't
give us a chance,
Right.
like,
express myself.
yeah, we're not on the same page.
I think Barbara will be
We
happy,
have a communication problem here.
right.
Not really. But,
Well, okay, okay,
we're good.
let's, I think it's an important thing, now that you've separated the two sorts of communications.
Right.
Yeah, then, we certainly could use a way of ensuring that those sorts of things get responses. I agree.
Okay.
All right, next item is memorial benches requested. So in the packet, the Memorials Committee received requests for 2 memorial benches. One for the Hundley family, who occupied 111 Grove. That's Gail Littlefield's, the house she lived in. And requested a memorial bench, and they would support that with funds to be placed. And I believe it's outside the hall here, place one of the benches, and as well, a request for a memorial bench for Alan Janis. I believe it's in the circle. And they, I believe, have recommended to go ahead with these. Then that's supported by funds. So this is merely some information that those memorial benches have been approved by the committee. So this is the time for if any council member wants more information about this. But the Memorials Committee, which consists of, for those of you who don't know, is Georgette, Audrey, Barbara, and Anna. Is that the committee? Something like that.
It's
Somebody
close.
else.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, there may be somebody else.
Yeah.
Can I just make a real quick comment, though? I looked at the information that was in the Dropbox, and this is for everybody else that's online. There's a lot of very good information about these memorial benches that you were talking about, and thank you for putting it together.
A lot of good information from the people who want the benches, you mean?
Yeah, well, that's in the Dropbox, so I don't know.
Yes, so yes, that came from the people requesting them, but Georgette was handling that, so she's the one who made that happen and brought it to me, so I did not.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I didn't deserve it for that.
For everybody
Georgette
that
does.
was involved, how
Yes,
about
yeah,
that?
everybody
I
was.
thought it was very enlightening
Yes.
and good information.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for commenting.
Are you going to make a motion?
Yes, I'm making a motion to approve the installment of 2 memorial benches, one in front of McCatherine Hall in honor of the Hundley family, and one at the circle near First Avenue in honor of Alan.
Second the motion.
I am sorry. Had that before.
Discussion
on here. Oh, I see. Sorry.
What are the benches gonna be made out of? Do you know?
Well, Georgette, they have like a company that they work with, and I don't
Maybe
have.
cement and like the one.
Yeah, so cement and boards, look out in Morgan, the entrance of town.
Yeah, the regular, yeah.
A new one there,
Mhm.
red shiny, looks great.
Yeah.
Right.
I forget who it's to, maybe it was replaced one that was there, but it's very nice. If that's something along those lines, I believe is.
I just asked that question so John can fix his phone.
Oh, okay. So
Fill the time while I was getting an alarm. Okay. All right, so we have a motion to approve these two memorial benches.
And I seconded it.
Any other questions? All right, John, all in favor?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, this is John.
okay.
Aye.
All right, good. All right, next item on the administrative matters agenda. So the council received and mayor received a request from Jill Bloom, the owner of 406 Fifth Avenue, to resolve some, I'm calling them encroachments, they may be non-compliance, I've never quite figured out which one applies when, but encroachments that are associated with her property. She's making this because obviously the issue with the 503 Macaulay, and wants, she's planning, maybe selling her house and wants to have the status resolved, obviously, before she does that. So the planning commission has been examining the issue, and they have made a recommendation. The material is in the meeting materials. Now, I didn't prepare any motion, and I don't know that you have.
I'll make the motion to remove the encroaching brickwork along Fifth Avenue. Did I do that?
Okay, well, that's.
Yeah.
This is Jill. When is it appropriate for me to speak?
It's not.
We hold on, Joe, lest you think we're going to precipitously approve this. Yeah, that's the planning, as Peter's motion indicates, the planning commission believes that there's a brick wall along Acorn that sits on town property in front of this residence. And so future property owners will likely be required, or the request would be from the planning commission to remove the brick wall. And so Bill Bloom wants the planning commission has looked at it, and they are now recommending that this wall be removed before or coincidentally with sale of the house. So once again, this is a situation where I don't believe the planning commission is saying, all right, you've had your wall up till now it needs to go. What they're saying is that this property owner, this is okay, but the next property owner, it needs to be resolved for the next property owner. Is that correct?
Right. So yes, and just so 2 points. We call it a triggering event, and we have had numerous. Anytime somebody's selling a house, the town looks at what's the town land that's been encroached upon, which is a lot of it here, and we recommend that the town gets their land back. It's as simple as that, and I'll just leave it at that. That's consistency. We try to treat everybody the same way.
Okay, so
I can say one other thing is that there is some land in the back on the avenue of the house, and if you read, so okay, go into that. Okay, so that's basically, and the planning commission unanimously voted, as we have in many other situations, that this should be restored. It's. I mean, I can give you some reasons why besides that, just to be consistent. It's also from a maintenance point of view. Talking with Steve, he says that it's a challenge removing snow from that area because it's very narrow there, and and it's also falling. It's all falling down. It needs to be redone. So, no, I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, so we have the property owner here, but it's up to the council whether you want to hear her response to this. I recommend that to keep to our procedural intentions, that we defer action on this proposal from the and from the planning commission and until September. And we'll have an opportunity then to hear Jill's point of view on this and act then, and hear any other point of view from any other town
Sure.
residents.
And you're right, the triggering event doesn't happen
No, it's
until the house is sold, so.
So you're saying hear from her in a public appearance? Is that right? Public appearance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yes. It's just, yeah, I think we're doing it a favor because when you sell, I don't want to name other situations that are going on right now, but when you're selling a house, it's a factor whether that's there or not. And so to me, if I was a homeowner, I would like to get that resolved ASAP.
Yeah.
But that's not, that's, I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Can I
Okay.
request clarification? We're deferring this until next month and I can speak then? Is that the thing?
Absolutely, that's part of the reason. Yes.
At the public
Okay.
appearance.
You may not have to come in, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So, all in favor of deferring action on the motion until next week? I see 4 here. Mary, John?
Yeah, John, this is John. Aye.
Okay, so 6 in favor. All right, the last item on the administrative matters is it is an alteration to our the requirements to meet our zoning to meet zoning. I have to use the term requirements again, under certain conditions, where historic preservation considerations might allow for those for a waiver of the zoning requirements, such as setbacks or floor area ratios or whatever else. All of it intended to facilitate making a house which is compromised by small lot or location of the building or whatever, to be modernized, as long as it retains its historic character. And the process for the waiver in the materials are the initial an initial draft, by no means a final draft of what that zoning ordinance might look like, and the rationale for doing it. The Planning Commission and the HPC have been batting this back and forth now for months. And they will put together an actual zoning text amendment for the council to consider. In the meantime, anyone who wants to communicate with them, feel free to, although you can just wait until that arrives at the council, because there is a extended process to approve zoning text amendment.
Oh, don't we have the zoning text amendment?
According to the letter from Georgette, no. I didn't get a communication that this was the one you wanted introduced.
I'm pretty sure that's what the plan.
Yes, Georgette?
My recollection was that the planning commission voted to send it to the town council for introduction. I believe that means that the planning commission felt that it was formatted as a ZTA, eligible as a ZTA, and ready for the town council to think about quite seriously.
Mhm.
Peter, you should be able to address that as well.
Yeah, that was my understanding, is that we're gonna move forward with this. I was just gonna ask, we don't have a motion, so we should have a motion first, right?
Well, yeah, this was information. Now,
Oh.
if you want to.
Well, I would just like to maybe discuss it real quickly.
It's not discuss the ordinance.
Yeah.
You have to introduce it.
Yeah, right. So I would make a motion to introduce the ordinance.
Okay.
Well, motion to
approve.
We don't really, do we approve it? Because it has to.
No, it's a second, there's a second. Introduction is not a motion to approve. Introduction allows you to debate.
Right.
So does
A motion to approve calls for a vote,
Right.
right?
Well,
Okay, I don't
so
think.
you're gonna have a separate motion then after? You're gonna move to introduce it.
Well, I guess it can become.
Doesn't it have to be a public hearing though before it's approved?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so we're not gonna vote on it tonight,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean you can't make a motion to approve it. Cause that's
Okay.
the whole point of.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
It's 6 of 1, half a dozen. Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
yeah. Somebody will second that.
Wait a moment, please.
Oh.
This is a zoning text amendment. You cannot simply approve it.
Right.
It's an Article 7
That's a-
zoning text amendment. It needs to be introduced. It needs to be considered. It needs to have a public hearing
Yes,
before you can move anywhere toward approving it.
Mhm.
Sorry,
yes,
pardon me.
that's correct.
So what do we do to open it up so we can have a brief discussion?
My understanding is you introduce it, you can discuss it.
Whatever you want.
We have a public hearing, and then we may amend it.
And
You may make a motion to approve it, and you may still amend it,
Mhm.
and finally you call for vote.
Mhm.
So introduce it.
All right, I make a motion to introduce this text
All right,
amendment.
it is, and I can show it here, but it's not gonna be.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if you all had a chance to read it, if you had questions that we could.
I have a question. What is, when are you gonna give it to the attorney to review?
Good question. I know that, so it seems like it's not clear exactly what copy version we have. We have it in our
I'll show
Dropbox.
you what I have.
We have an introduction.
That's why I have this not as actually being introduced, because it actually hasn't gone through what I would consider a full preparation, if you will, for introduction. But I can show you what's here. Here it is. It even.
I think that's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all have it.
We have it.
Well, I'll show everybody because this is what we're talking about here.
Yeah, our goal is to get to the next step and schedule a public hearing. That's the goal, is to move forward, unless the council has an issue with anything in there. It's very straightforward. And it would be good to answer your questions as a group now versus waiting a month. Although we've been here, the town's been around for a long time.
So, Georgette, the reason I thought this was just a draft is because it's accepted by planning commission, has no date on it. So I assumed it was not the one you wanted introduced yet. It could be. Barbara's correct. This ought to be reviewed by the town attorney. It'd be reviewed after introduction, probably better to do it before introduction, because to make sure it's everything is in order.
Yes, actually, the planning commission would be very happy about that. That would be great.
All right, so we have had it introduced, and I propose that we defer further discussion until the town attorney and anyone else reviews what the ordinance actually says and make sure it addresses everything that needs to be addressed to introduce to achieve its goals. All right?
Okay, so in September, we'll take the next step. In
Yeah,
September.
hopefully.
And schedule our meeting and all that. Okay.
All right. So
But I was still curious. We have councils here. I'm still curious, and I haven't really heard any feedback from anybody about this. And it's it's given the planning commission a new type of power. And so I was wondering if there were any concerns or anything that we should be aware of.
So I will just say that I was like following along because I'm liaison for HPC, so I was really following this process as it was going along. And the idea is if you have an old historic house and you want to do something to make it more livable, like, put a nice little porch there, but, you're going to run into these setback problems, but maybe it's not really that bad of a problem. And so you can have an exception to some of the rules because we want to see a nice porch on your house and if it's not encumbering somebody else, so it adds flexibility to homeowners who want to make improvements. So
and the real thing here, the real fear here is I don't know if you talked about somebody talked about it. Oh, it was Bill earlier. But that because of the constrictions on the lot, like the house right next to me, which is 800 square feet, it's gonna be $500,000 house, is that most people would go knock it down and build a box. And our goal is to keep, our historic houses and all that. And right now you'd have to go to the BZA to have anything done. And what we're trying to do is make it a little bit more flexible for the sake of the town. That's all. And I think, and I think it's very simple.
Yes.
So good.
All right, we have consensus then to defer further discussion till next month, when we will have, hopefully the planning commission will have some input from the town attorney and anyone else who wants to speak up about this.
Do we have like we don't have a backlog with her, do we? The attorney?
A what?
A backlog?
Yes.
We do have a backlog?
Yes.
How big is it? Like, it's big?
Well, we're about to address two of them.
Oh, yeah.
And there's another one that, we've requested the insurance, explanation.
Right.
She's also working on lighting.
Yeah.
Okay.
All while she's working on the lighting.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yes.
But then we put that extra $5,000 or whatever. Okay.
All right. Okay, so the next item of business is ordinance 2026. That's authorizing the easement to Montgomery County to extend the Washington Grove connector to the end of Brown Street. We had the public hearing. The ordinance was drafted by our town attorney. Well, and the easement was drafted by the county and has been we've requested additional terms. Well, modification and additional terms, minor modification, and we have yet to hear back from the county on that. The suggestion from the Department of Transportation property expert or individual is that the county attorney's not going to like at least one of our terms, but that probably an MOU, memorandum of understanding, may suffice for our concerns and will be more acceptable to the county, rather than cluttering up their easements with codicil that they have trouble accepting. So the consequence is that whereas we had the public hearing and could potentially approve this ordinance, we don't actually have the easement terms settled. So on recommendation of our town attorney, and Sue Ellen's here, but she doesn't need to say anything because she's convinced me that we should therefore not act on this ordinance until the easement, it's clear what the easement terms, where the easement terms stand after this negotiation. So as Barbara knows, and the Bike Pathway Committee is concerned that this easement may hold up progress to construction. While we could defer this till September, I am going to propose that the council set a special town council meeting in a couple of weeks. I'm suggesting Tuesday, August 25th. Which would allow notice to go out tomorrow. If I sent notice out before midnight tonight, I suppose we could do it 2 weeks from today, Monday, but I'm suggesting Tuesday as the earliest day we could do this. If anyone has, I mean, that's my suggestion, by which time we hopefully will have been back and forth with the county and be more certain as to what we are approving in terms of an easement.
You anticipate a vote that night?
Sorry?
Do you anticipate a vote that night to?
Yes, this would be to discuss the terms of the easement and.
But also to make a final vote.
Yeah, make a final vote.
So we think that we'll have it by then? We think.
I don't know. If we don't have it, then we can cancel the meeting.
Okay, well, I will be somewhere in the backcountry in the Adirondacks, so that will not work for me. Possibly I could be online on the 26th or 27th.
Wednesday, the 20th, is that,
Wednesday.
Do I have everything in the right dates? I have no idea if I do.
27th would be better because 27th would be better.
27th. The September council meeting is on the 14th, which is why I'm trying to put one in here. It's it's more than a month from tonight.
Great.
The 27th? I'm good with that.
27th?
So I'm going to be out of town also, but I should have Wi-Fi.
Good.
Okay, I mean, we can restrict the council meeting solely to this issue. Or maybe in addition to the next issue, we'll see. Okay. All right, so I hear 4 people here are okay with the Thursday, the 27th of August. How about Mary and John?
I'm good with it. That's good.
John says, okay, Mary, okay. All right, so we'll set a special council meeting and I'll get the notice out tomorrow. With the agenda containing this easement. And if for some reason we haven't progressed far enough to actually vote on this, then I may just cancel that and I'll defer it till September.
What time are you going to make it for?
What?
What time are you going to make it for?
7:30. Okay. All right. Next item on business. Next item of business is actually a new ordinance authorizing a driveway access easement to the owners of 503 Macaulay. And you will have seen that ordinance in the materials. And I can put it up here. There's the wrong easement. That's an easement. But I need to give you an update on the status of final. This has got everything. Okay. All right. Okay, so without rehashing, where this whole matter, I proposed, and with some consultation with some council members, that to resolve the interest of the council in recovering the Fifth and Sixth Avenue adjacent to 503 as walkway only. That we offer the property owners, the Charlestroms, to build an access across our lot 1 in block 18 between Macaulay Street and their lot 2. And we have negotiated what that would look like. And it's that constitutes an agreement between the town and the Charlestroms as to who will do what to resolve the driveway access to their property prior to sale of their property. The settlement agreement is there. That settlement agreement, the terms of the settlement agreement are still being revised, negotiated. And we have Sue Ellen here, and I see who perhaps is willing to comment on, have we heard anything about your, I wouldn't expect to, but we returned a revised draft. Sue Ellen?
No, nothing further this evening. So there's no final, but the reason to get it introduced this evening is because I think the broad outlines of the agreement are there. And this is an ordinance, so that 20 days notice has to be given. There are time pressures on this transaction because the owners wish to sell the property and have all this resolved beforehand. And so to get the appropriate amount of time frame involved here, you should go ahead and introduce the ordinance. They have no objection to the wording of the ordinance. The items that are still in some discussion are the easement for the driveway and the settlement agreement. So, but the wording of the ordinance has been agreed upon for your review. Obviously, the council has to adopt the ordinance, but there's no dispute between the drafting. So the proposal is this get introduced this evening. You have the drafts of the settlement agreement and the easement. Those are still being discussed to a certain degree, but this will allow that to be completed and to have the ordinance adopted after the 20 days, but still in a timely way.
Thank you, Sue Ellen. Okay, so tonight we're introducing the ordinance. It had references an easement document and a settlement agreement, both of which may be are being subject to adjustment, but we want to schedule, as Sue Ellen said, the public hearing and move the ordinance process along while those details are finalized. All right, so I need a motion.
So we're talking about right now just the easement. We're not talking about, after that, we're gonna be talking about who's paying for what and construction and all
The
that.
settlement agreement does contain who's paying for what. Yes, settlement agreement.
So what exactly are we?
And by approving this ordinance, we'll be approving the settlement agreement. Okay, so currently the terms are that the driveway, the current driveway will be abandoned. The driveway from whatever point the Charlestons choose that is not on 5th or 6th Avenue will be extended through lot 2 and 3. It will be the one next to 5th Avenue, so along 5th Avenue, parallel, and that will intersect the extension of that driveway across the town's lot 1 to the pavement on Macaulay Street. The town will pay for the driveway installation on lot one, and will grant the Charleston's and obviously future property owners an easement to use the lot one property described as such and such for a driveway. And the Charleston's will agree to create the driveway, the new driveway between their lot 4 to bring it to the part the town is going to install. There's a few other things. We're going to, we want to move to restore the walkways from being clearly driveway.
But that's not really relevant to.
Well, it is. It's part of the settlement agreement. Will be.
What would it be? No, because it's not theirs. So why would that be a settlement? I'm just asking. I don't know why. To me, those are two separate items.
Well, okay, read the settlement agreement. You can argue it later. It's not a big deal because the very next thing on the agenda is I'm going to recommend that we expend funds to execute our part of the settlement.
Right.
Okay, which I don't think there'll be any argument about. If you agree with this, the way this is going, then there shouldn't be any disagreement about expending the funds. Okay, I mean, we don't have to do anything about the two avenues, but I don't think we want them looking like driveways.
No, we're gonna do them. I just don't understand, but I just don't see why.
Want to convert them from being driveways to not being driveways.
Yeah, but I understand why that has anything to do with this settlement.
Was requested by.
Okay, it was requested by.
Yeah. And I did not see any reason not to, because as you say, we were going to do it anyway. Okay. It's just that I think their point, not putting words in other people's mouths, is they were not going to be involved in undoing the driveway nature of the walkway.
Oh,
that was the issue.
Right. Okay.
Rather than saying that negatively, you say it positively. The town will deal with the driveway.
So I have one other question, and I'll trust you in what you say. Speaking from the perspective of planning commission, this is something, to my knowledge, is kind of unique in us paying for this. And have you thought about other ramifications in the future? Consistency for other residents. Although I don't know if they're either.
Yeah, well, of course, I've thought about it. I've thought about it. I discussed it with Georgette. I discussed it with a few other people. This is a nearly unique situation where a properties from lots 2 through 6 do not have are not immediately adjacent to a vehicular right of way. They are adjacent to walkways. That's it. So we have a unique situation with respect to that. Actually, there are 2 other properties that are in the same situation down Macaulay. And therefore, in order to provide the alternative access to Macaulay, they have to cross the town's lot 1. So that's the town's property, and hence this approach to basically providing what everybody needs and or wants. They need a driveway access to Macaulay, and we would like it not to be on the walkways. So we do that, and yes, the cost to the town to arrive at that is to install a driveway across lot 1. Okay.
No, that's fine.
There is nowhere else.
There are. No, there's a circle house. There's houses that are landlocked in the grove.
Yes. Well, yes, but they don't.
That's not nothing to do that. Yeah.
They don't have town property interfering with their access. Do they?
Yes. Well, it's a walkway. We have some situations, but anyway, it's not. We wrestle with this. We don't know what the answer is. I'm not going to do it tonight, and we really have to get this off the plate, so,
You asked
yeah.
the question,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm just, yeah. Well, I take my question back.
Yeah.
Can you move this to the August special meeting?
No,
You've got it September
as Sue
14th.
Ellen reminded me, that
No.
you have to, for a land exchange, you have to give 20 days notice
Okay.
before for the public to respond. We
Okay.
did that for the easement down there, at Brown Street, because we did that in July. and
Okay,
had-
go.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and now we have to do it for this one, and, we would have to,
Yeah.
we couldn't do it on the 27th. Okay. All right, so if there is no other discussion, the ordinance has been introduced. We'll set the public hearing then for the September 14th meeting of the town council. And assuming all of the i's are dotted and the t's are crossed in the settlement agreement and the easement document, we can, the council can vote on it after the public hearing, barring any unforeseen,
But you were saying that we're not
hiccups.
100% there, yeah, as far as.
Not with the easement and the.
On both parties.
What?
Both parties have not agreed yet.
No,
No, okay.
a lot of it's just wording.
Right,
but
okay, yeah.
a couple of
Okay.
more.
Good.
Okay. Alrighty, then, the next item is, I would like to have a motion to allow, the town to construct the driveway across, lot 1 in block 18. The reason to do that now is in order to create meets and bounds, we either have to lay out the dang driveway, do a survey, and put all that into the easement, which we have to do anyway, or we can make the driveway and then measure where it is and put it into the easement. Remember, the ordinance is authorizing the easement. So after the ordinance is all passed and the 30 days of reaction time become effective, only then can you sign the easement. So before then, we have to have completed this business, and so I'm requesting funds to do the driveway, and at the same time, because I asked RJ for a proposal that would also remove gravel, the existing driveway style gravel, and regrade the 2 walkways and install our typical walkway gravel. It's a different size to make it look more like a walkway. So those funds I'm requesting, the proposal from RJ is there. It's about $4,000, a little over $4,000.
I make a motion to expend funds to construct a driveway to 503 Macaulay.
Okay. Right, and I think there was one more, I'm forgetting something here. Something else was in there. I apologize for not having this immediately. Here's the motion. I just want to make sure I covered my, here it is. Oh, right. There were 2 motions. Got it. I just brought up the wrong one. Yes, it's up to $5,000 to construct the gravel driveway, where it's going, and to partially restore.
So when you say partially, is 6th Avenue gonna go through, or is that what we're gonna do?
No, we're just going to work on the part of the walkways which are currently being used for driveway. That's all.
Okay.
Future projects are future projects. We don't have a project.
Yeah.
But you're.
I see what you're saying. Okay, good. And then did you say that we're gonna have surveying being done?
Okay, so the second.
Oh, that's second, okay.
Second motion is that in order to fully describe this easement, we may need to do an actual location survey. So I'm asking for up to $2,000. I have no idea how much it'll be. I think it'll be $1,000, but I can't.
Really?
I don't know that for
Because
sure.
we have all the boundary markers, but that you still need to have.
Well, somebody has to go out and measure where the driveway is. It's the easement we need to describe. Yeah,
Oh, so-
you have the boundary, good, that should make it easy,
Yeah,
but
we have all the boundary markers there.
yeah, but you still have to survey where everything is.
To
In
certain,
other words, the easement is here,
right.
that has to be described.
So before you can do that, you have to know where the driveway will be located.
That's why the intention is to install the driveway and then describe where it is.
Okay. Is it premature to be doing this, that, because you have to first have an agreement that they.
Not gonna do it till we have an agreement.
So we can just, then it'll be ready to go.
Yes,
He's just setting up funds here.
yes.
Okay, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Okay.
not actually gonna go ahead and do it.
Okay.
All right, I think that covers it, and I appreciate the motion for the funds for the roads. Any other comments on that? Let me get this out of here. All right, all in favor? 4 here, Mary, John?
John, I.
Okay, and can I have a motion for the survey expenses?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, it's up to $2,000 to survey the location of the driveway easement.
Second, Barbara?
All right, Barbara seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
This is John, I.
All right, that's unanimous. Thank you. All right. Now we're on to, believe it or not, near the end, to the council reports. So I extracted a few interesting things I thought might be worth mentioning here. One is from John Porter about the lighting committee. They are moving toward suggesting replacement of the high pressure sodium bulb fixtures that are on Ridge Road and we believe may also be on Brown Street. With new fixtures that would accommodate LEDs, likely Cobra head fixtures. But the committee is going to look at that, at replacing those fixtures now that we have some sort of idea of how to deal with Pepco for this process. Just information. Chris reported in his McCatherine Hall report that a new electric water heater was installed to replace the gas water heater, for which I'm going to make this very brief. The temperature regulator failed, and replacing the temperature regulator on the gas water heater was the better part of a new water heater. It was felt that the gas water heater was overkill in its size and was not using renewable energy. So going with a smaller electric water heater does use an electric energy would be a reasonable place to go. And so that that replacement has been done. Have a new smaller electric water heater here in the hall. As well, new cipher locks are being installed. I'm sure everybody knows what a cipher lock is. And just in case you're like me and didn't actually understand that, it's a keypad lock, which we can change combinations, issue one-time use combinations and withdraw use and better control access, who has access to the outside of the hall, the main hall, the council room, the office. So those have been, a bunch of those have been purchased and will be installed if they haven't already. Also from Chris, in the emergency preparedness and safety area, which is a committee of him, and this is the suggestion from Donna Schreiner that a new stop sign be installed But Brown and Chestnut, I didn't know she was going to make an appearance, but I think we'll see a proposal to do that. I think the council needs to consider and approve that. Stop signs are.
Can we use the spreadsheet for beta test?
Absolutely. We're already using it for other things.
Are you?
Yeah, a few things. But yes, everything should. I meant to make a plea. Whenever you get a request to do anything, anybody, any of you, Peter's probably getting zillions. Just, notify Anna at this point. Please put it into the request tracking system. And so she can follow up. And
So there's not an actual thing like where people can type in what the request is and just immediately go there? Somebody has to.
not yet.
Okay.
No, but that's the plan.
Okay.
They can't actually type in, but they do a request form, which then puts it in there. And
It sounds like it's one of those, when you go to a website and it says under construction. It's still being developed, so that's why I say.
well, yeah, we have. All right, and from the planning commission, I just wanted to report that they are discussing the idea of requiring a permit to allow resident planting on town land adjacent to private property.
We are not discussing it. We voted unanimously not to do that. And so if you want to.
I'll be appearing in front of the planning commission to make a hopefully more persuasive argument that this is something that is appropriate, because I didn't hear a word as to why you were against that.
I could
Okay.
spend 20 minutes right now telling you, but.
Right. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Yeah. Well, why don't we just put it on the agenda for the next council meeting?
No, let's put it on the planning.
Well, it's gonna come down to the council anyway, so why don't we just do it? You can, you're not gonna persuade the planning commission.
Because the planning commission has to execute this. And so if you're not willing to, if you don't agree that there's value to it, then why
Right.
don't the council try and, yes, we can impose it on you, but.
The council, that's what I'm saying.
The council.
Right, so the planning commission doesn't think it's it's been thoroughly discussed. So you can't, of course, you can come to the next meeting.
That's all, I'm just reporting on the on the
Yeah.
council report.
Yeah.
I don't mean to argue the.
Well, you could just meet with Georgette and myself and say, we can.
I could.
Yeah.
Lastly, from Mary about the lake. Just so everybody who hasn't been to the lake knows that a sign-in at the lifeguard stand was initiated. It was on a trial basis to facilitate monitoring who and how many people were coming to the lake. And that's been in effect for a month. And I'm sure the lake committee will be assessing as to how useful that was, because of course it takes some effort to do this. Another requirement. Secondly, remember we put funds in for a porta potty, and apparently the feedback for the porta potty has been very positive. So that's good news.
Yes.
And just like for the Duty Coal station, the feedback from the dogs, very positive.
Did you announce that there's a new station coming?
Yes, and there's one more station.
One more station coming.
All right, that's it. Anybody else have anything to say about their council reports they'd like to?
No, I just want to point out that the next meeting is not actually Monday, October 12th. It's September something, 14th or something.
Why did I put?
we were skipping a month.
It's 14th. I think that I just meant to be another. Okay.
This is the only time I've seen it.
Yeah, it's definitely the 14th.
Really? Yeah. The golden words. So
Yes, the next
Well,
meeting
yeah, I
will be September 14th. I'm sorry. The next regular meeting will be a Monday, 7:30, September 14th, which will include the public hearing on the ordinance, I think it's number 2026-12. And on the 27th of August at 7:30, that's a Thursday, there will be a special town council meeting to address the proposed easement. Yeah. All right?
All right.
Good meeting. That was
All right.
amazing.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
7:30.
Do we want to stop the record?
I just did.
Oh, did you? I have to do it already.
It's not.
Are you heading back right away or are you gonna stay in chat?